So first we are going to look at how do we implement a dictionary uh, in more detail. So recall that there are two terms, vocabulary and dictionary. The vocabulary is just the set of terms that are stored in the dictionary, and the dictionary refers to the actual implementation of the vocabulary. So we are going to focus only on the dictionary part of the index over here, and we're going to see how we can implement a dictionary. And as before, I would like to again repeat that we want the dictionary to be stored in main memory. So the dictionary data structure is going to store the term vocabulary. It's also going to store the document frequency as we've seen before, and it's going to store the pointers to the postings list. Now the question is, how do we actually implement a dictionary? This is just a picture of the standard inverted index. So I'm going to call this a standard inverted index because we're going to see some other kinds of indexes in this chapter. So when I refer to the phrase standard inverted index, this is the inverted index that you've seen from chapter 1. Here's the simplest way to implement a dictionary. Okay, diagrammatically you can just think of storing all the terms in a sorted array, an array of structures where the terms are sorted lexicographically, and you're storing the document frequencies as integers alongside the terms, and you're also storing pointers to the postings list alongside the terms. So this is a structure. This is a struct. It stores a string corresponding to the term. It stores an integer corresponding to the document frequency, and it stores a pointer corresponding to the postings list. And this is an array of structures. This is the simplest way you can implement a dictionary. Now, if you're searching for a particular term in the dictionary, you can use something like binary search here if you're implementing it in an array of structures. And that's going to take you about log n time, where n is the size of this array. So let's assume that each term is approximately 20 bytes or a maximum of 20 bytes. We could use a 4-byte integer to store the document frequency, but as you know, what's the maximum size of an integer that can fit into a 4-byte word? It's about 2 to the power 32, approximately 4 billion or so. But in a web corpus, you're going to have a lot more than 4 billion documents, right? So the value of the document frequency can be much larger than 4 billion. So you may have to go for an 8-byte integer to represent this. So later in chapter 5, we are just going to start with this kind of a naive implementation, and then we are going to see how we can compress the dictionary and also compress the postings list. So right now the size of the dictionary would be given by 20 plus 8 plus say 8 bytes, which would be 36 bytes for each of these rows, and 36 times the number of terms in the index. That would give you the number of bytes taken up by this implementation. Now, how are we going to look up elements at query time? We'll do binary search, narrow down to the term of interest, and then we'll follow the pointer to the postings list for that term. Let's look at more sophisticated ways of implementing a dictionary. This was a very naive implementation. There are broadly two main choices for implementing a dictionary. The first is a hash table, and the second is a search tree. Some systems use hash tables and other systems use search trees. Let's look at hash tables first. So I'm just going to give a very high level overview, and I would recommend that you go and look up these data structures in a data structures or algorithms book. So in a hash table, what you have is you have a hash function which takes in a key and maps that key to an integer. This integer, okay, what is the key here? Basically, you want to store a list of items. Okay, so let me explain this using an example. Let's say you want to store a set of numbers. Okay, and your numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on till the number n. How do you store this list of numbers? Well, you can just store this list in an array. Now imagine that these numbers are not just integers, but let's say they also have some meta information associated with it. So these are IDs. These are IDs for maybe employee records or your entry number or your social security number or whatever you're trying to store. And along with the numbers, you're trying to store some other information like name, salary, and so on. So think of each of this as a structure instead of a single integer. Okay. The integer field of this structure is the key, because this is the value that's going to be unique for each person. So each of you can have your own social security numbers, for example, or entry numbers or roll numbers or whatever you call them in your university. So if you want to store information about n students, what is the simplest way to store them? Well, you can take an array of size n, store the record for student with entry number 1 in the first place position of the array, store the record for the student with entry number 2 in the second place, and so on. So if I want to find out information about student number I, is the student with roll number I just need to look up the ith position in this array. Now suppose these numbers had been instead of 1 to n, suppose they had been 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 2n. Now these may not be roll numbers, but let's imagine that roll numbers have necessarily to be even numbers for some strange reason. So these are n roll numbers. All n of them are even integers, but all of them are in the range from 2 to 2n. How do you store a record for? How do you store all the records for the students now? Well, you could store the record with roll number 2 in position 1. You could store the record with roll number 4 in position number 2. You could store the record for roll number 6 in position number 3, and so on. And in general, you would store the record. So the index of the record 2i, sorry, let me write it here. If I want to find out where the record for a particular roll number is stored, I can just take half of that and I will get the index in this array where I need to look up to get information about that record. Now in general, so these were very, very simple examples where you had numbers from 1 to n and 2 to n. But let's say you had a general list of n instances. How would you store it? How would you store it in such a way that can look up the record in constant amount of time? Note that calculate the index at which a particular record is stored, you just take a constant amount of time to calculate what the value of the index is. Just take half of that roll number and you'll get that value. But if you had a general list of n integers, you would need some sophisticated mathematical techniques to ensure that you would need a function f which would take your roll number and map it to some value or to some index in the array. And what you want is that for different roll numbers, your values